Germ. You're suing everyone? Oh, yes, we know a lot of folks are going to catch us on the replay. A lot going on tonight, night after a holiday weekend. I had a great time. First time we've had a great weekend in Ohio, in this area. Like every day for the holiday weekend was nice. Wasn't too hot. We had one tiny little rain drizzle, and that's about it. And for some of you that are here for the Up Church, looks like Beth did have the baby. Now, the question is, for Mr. Up Church, is the baby fake? Are they just faking having a baby to scam GoFundMe? Or is he really a loving parent of a child? Because that'd be a good question for Mr. Up Church. And some of you guys that are here from the What the Hales Bully channel, our newest target to help him destroy his algorithm. Just the short skinny on Up Church and why he's being sued. Because I know a lot of you new subscribers do not know. But Mr. Up Church decided that he would join the true crime community while partaking in a little too much funny business. And long story short, he wound up on some live streams, hiring a kite, and was staying up for days at a time, thinking that he was solving a missing girl case. A young lady had went missing. She left a high school party and did not return home in the morning. She was reported missing, and search ensued. And the YouTube true crime community started talking about the case, and Ryan truly believed in his heart and his soul that the wild things screaming through his imagination were real. And he went live on his 3.5 million subscriber YouTube channel and just decided to start singling random people out that he ran into on true crime podcasts that he was paying money to join. So he would show up in the chat, give them a $500 super chat, and come on their live stream. And then whoever he was talking to on that live stream would suddenly become a suspect in this missing girl case. And he would literally coerce his fans to help him dox these people with 3 other guys. And that's exactly what they did. They picked random people that were on podcasts talking about this missing girl case, doxed them, and then accused them of doing something to the child. And went on to say that they were involved in selling small folks for adult activities after fully doxing them. And he even went on to dox their entire families. And in one case, a girl, a 2-time war, she did 2 tours of war in our military, a Ukrainian transplant. He doxed her and her entire family, and she ended up being actually stalked in real life by one of his crazed fans. He then singled out a 16-year-old girl and got some other underage kid to get on her Facebook, because he couldn't get on this underage girl's Facebook because he's an adult. He had no access to her Facebook. So he got some underage person that he knew to get on her Facebook and get a bunch of her pictures. And he decided that this girl was actually a fake Kylie Rodney, the actual missing girl. And he fully doxed this girl, her father, her grandfather, where her father worked and where her grandfather worked, and convinced his low IQ fan base that this girl was actually in on some scam to help Kylie Rodney's parents and the fake police scam money from GoFundMe. And that Kylie Rodney never existed. These people never had a child. They faked it all for GoFundMe. And he's now facing a federal lawsuit for that. We can go ahead and get rid of this turd right now. Patrick Patterson. Patrick Patterson is the stalker of the girl, by the way. And he's one of the small IQ simpletons that thought an acid trip was real. And the only thing that I can say in Upchurch's defense is that it's a shame that he's the only one being sued, because there's some other guilty people that should be getting sued too. That being said, that brings us to tonight's topic. You know, there's nothing I hate more. There's just nothing that irritates me more than a hypocrite, self-appointed Christian who, because they go to church on Sunday, think that they have the right to judge others. And I listened to a couple of hypocrites last week. I'm sure you guys did too. The woman that still uses the title of mayor after being mayor for just a mere month or two in a small little town of 100 people, Otter Creek, Florida. And I understand why she resigned. I don't throw any shade for that. I wouldn't want those people having my financials. And Florida passed a law saying that let's see. They passed a law saying that you had to fully disclose your financials if you were going to be a part of any kind of elected office. You had to fully disclose. And she didn't want these yahoos having her her papers, her receipts. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't trust any of them, especially Jeremy Hales. I wouldn't, with him being friends with people that are in office there. I wouldn't never trust any of it, because everything about you will be in his hands. And the first time he has a problem with you, he'll find a way to use it against you, like he does every single person that he's ever been associated with. And all I can say to the Madam Mayor is something my grandfather told me that turned out to be very, very true. And that is, if they'll do it with you, they'll do it to you. So I'm just going to tell you now, you go ahead and you look at the way the Germ has treated Guapo, and you'll know exactly how he's going to treat you the first time you do something he don't like. He's going to do you exactly the way that he has done everyone he's ever been involved with. And so first, I got part of her video that I want to shred. And then this takes us back to, Jeremy Hales, who Jeremy needs your help. And what I mean by that is Jeremy is confused. He thinks that YouTube's terms of service only apply to other people, that the YouTube terms of service does not apply to him. It only applies to other people on YouTube. He's special. And he can even make up his own terms of service. And and act like those should be enforced, and then no terms of service apply to him. He has of late done the exact same thing that Ryan Upchurch did, and that is he has turned his social media influence, instead of looking at it like a blessing, a gift, something that comes with responsibility. When you have a lot of people that look up to you, you have a responsibility that goes with that. And when you start abusing that responsibility, it's not good. And Jeremy Hales has decided to turn his channel into a weapon against people he has a personal beef with, primarily his neighbors, part of the Otter Creek government, and even people that thought they were his friend, and he just out of the blue decided that he didn't want to be friends with them no more. So he just weaponized his channel against them. And he makes a video every night just talking smack about everybody, making wild accusations, slandering attorneys, slandering other people, threatening other channels, threatening to go to people's house. And in all this, he's gotten so lost and so confused that he actually thinks that the higher ups at YouTube are going to punish any channel that has an opinion about him, while he continues to have an opinion about anybody else that he wants. And that he can turn his camera on and just say whatever the hell he wants, including doxing people. But if someone has an opinion about him, the higher ups of YouTube is going to take their channel away. And a judge is going to grant him a judgment because someone had an opinion about him he didn't like, when his entire channel is his opinion about other people as of late. So, and again, mountains of evidence of his fans making threats also, going into people's live streams, same thing you see from Crack Squad, the Upchurch cult, threats and all this crap. I try to wrap my mind around how small-minded I would have to be to make physical threats against somebody because they critiqued a YouTuber that I like. I mean, that is some small-minded stuff. That's like wanting to beat somebody up because they don't like the football team you like. It's just real small-minded stuff. You got to have an extremely low IQ to engage in anything of the sort. And I feel sorry for the people that do, because what it means is you're going to live in poverty all your life because you're just a gullible fool. People are going to take advantage of you your entire life. People are going to be able to lie to you and blow smoke up your ass, and you're going to be too stupid to know when you're being lied to. And there are a surprising amount of people that are fans of Jeremy Hales that fit that category. There are some extremely low IQ people out there trying to defend the nonsense he's doing. That being said, I just wanted to share a few clips with you, and we'll talk about them.
It's not okay for you to watch Scooby-Doo because, number one, you stay up all night screaming out of fear. Number two, you're wetting the bed constantly out of fear.
Now, that's him responding to his 19-year-old son, who, out of the blue, not having any knowledge at all about what's going on in Otter Creek and what's going on with Lynette Preston. That was his son who, just out of the blue, decided that he was tired of this fake Jeremy Hales that's running around YouTube, and he wanted to shed some light on some truths. And so he made a video. He came forward and he made a video and talked about the verbal abuse and the way that his father parented with fear when he was a child, to the point where it broke his confidence, made him extremely depressed, and to the point where he wanted to do away with himself at times. And he dropped out of senior year of high school because it was just too much all at once. And I can relate to that to some degree. And that was just a wisecrack, because his son talked about not being allowed to watch. Like if there was a cartoon that he really liked, his dad would just suddenly tell him he wasn't allowed to watch it because it was too scary or something. And the only thing I'm going to say to you there, Jeremy Hales, is kids having nightmares and wetting the bed is pretty common among kids that are being abused, kids that are being verbally abused, kids that are afraid. And I would blame you, based on what he told me, more so than I would Scooby-Doo. That's all I'm saying, is that if a 6-year-old in your house was wetting the bed and was afraid, it was probably because of you. We've seen the way you act with your intimidation tactics, and I have no doubt you applied those to a child.
And all these clips of him on other streams will be used in court against her. So not only is he destroying credibility, such as saying things, well, we only did that to delay. We only did that and it worked. Nothing happened for 5 months. Oh my goodness.
He was only saving face.
The federal judge hears this.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Now, Jeremy Hale spent 3 months dissecting every single thing his attorney told him, and every single thing that happened in court, and every single thing that was going to happen in court all summer. But now that Lynette's got a lawyer, and he expresses his opinion and his approach to court, and suddenly he's doing something wrong, and a federal judge is going to hang him for it. Jeremy, Bruce can talk about his case as much as he wants, and there ain't anything you can do about it. And wait till a federal judge takes a look at your channel. Wait till a federal judge sees you doxing people that you're trying to sue, that you're threatening to sue. It blows my mind that you can be so self-centered and just so disconnected with reality. Because I got news for you. There's no judge going to grant you shit because somebody had an opinion about you didn't like, once your channel is seen, and the crap that you spew every night, trying to destroy a mother and get her child taken away because you don't like her, using your channel and your fans as a weapon. Your fans stop pulling up in front of her house and yelling expletives while she's supposed to have a protection order against you. You clear off a piece of land across the street from her house and literally pay a guy to drive nearly an hour away to come there and spy on her, under some bullshit delusion that it's got some other meaning. And it is just amazing to me, absolutely amazing to me, that you're that clueless, that you think that some judge is going to give you a judgment given that. You're out of your mind. Now let's listen to the rest of his delusion.
Number two, we are aware of the copyright infringements, the mass copyright infringements right now. And so
all you mean is fair use content, like I'm using right now. That is completely under the guides of fair use. And I'm going to say it right out loud. I warn you right now, you try to strike my channel, and because you're not the only one having meetings with YouTube. We've had some discussions with YouTube about you and your abuse of the copyright system. And your channel's going to get struck if you keep it up, pal. You can't just strike fair use content, and you aren't the fair use police. YouTube's terms of service is, and you haven't won a single try. People just give up because they don't want to deal with it, but everyone that's appealed won the appeal. And you keep it up, and you're going to get a strike on your channel. That's what's going to happen, because it is fair use. 100% fair use. You're not the only one allowed to critique people on your YouTube channel, Jeremy. Everything you do, we can do. And you need to just shrink that head and come to terms with that.
I will share with you that I do have at length meetings with higher ups in YouTube this next week, and they are formulating a plan with us to remove all of these videos and to remove potentially, I have to state potentially, because it's not a guarantee right now, these channels who continue to steal our content. And so I want to be very, very clear. Number one, thank you for letting us know.
Now, I hate to break this to you, Jeremy, but when you upload a picture to Facebook, it ain't yours anymore. You agree that everything you put on Facebook belongs to them. So if somebody copies your picture from Facebook, you ain't nothing you can do about it. It's a public photo on a public website. I don't know what planet you're on where you think the same rules you're trying to impose on people wouldn't apply to you. How many times have you talked shit about Milltown, Bruce, two Lees in a pod, Ray Bone? How many times has crap come out of your mouth and you're going to sue them? It just blows my mind that you think that that's even a possibility, because it's not. It's not. All you'd end up, if you even manage to somehow get a lawyer to even mess with something so stupid, even if you manage to find some lawyer that was just wanted to go ahead and assign his name to a losing case, there's no way any judge is going to say, well, it's okay for you to talk smack about them, but man, they said something about you. Let's award you some damages. Not going to happen, Jeremy. You're just going to end up paying everybody's legal fees. That's what will happen. You'll lose the same way you lost against Maryland Rabies, the same way you lost against Robertson's Heating and Cooling, and the same way you're going to lose against Bruce and Lynette for using her likeness for profit. You've used her as your main content for an entire year now. She has outdone all of your storage unit crap. She's the main feature on your channel for an entire summer. And somehow you think someone mentioning you in a video can get them sued. But you're all good with trash mouthing somebody for an entire year, saying all kinds of stuff you can't prove. You've been caught in so many lies. You said this child wasn't verbal and she can talk like any normal 4-year-old. You said the child wasn't potty broken. She absolutely is potty broken. It just, unbelievable that you would like to expose yourself to some judge. And for all you blind loyalist fans of his, I feel sorry for if you're that stupid that you think that he can get away with doing everything he's done for an entire year to somebody and then turn around and sue some other channel because they mentioned some stuff about him he didn't like. It ain't going to happen. And Middletown, I'm so glad you changed your mind. You got nothing to worry about. It's an idle threat. It's a bunch of bullshit. Slug, he could never get that case in front of a judge. It's just him shooting his mouth off. Period. And you guys need to quit caring this prick. He's never won a court case yet. He's yet to have won one. He lost big against Lynette, and she was representing herself. She went in there with no lawyer and kicked his ass in court. Bad. And he's got everybody buffaloed that he somehow won when he got one of the worst slaps I've seen in a while. Couldn't even be on the street she lives on. And here he is threatening to sue. And I just got to tell you, all you guys out there, man, I really appreciate you standing up for Up Church. I really appreciate you. Or, I mean, standing up against Up Church and these bullying and stuff. You know, here we got another one. And since he thinks he's going to sue every channel that's got something to say about him, I think everybody that does reaction videos needs to start doing videos about this jackass. Just wear his ass out and show him what toss and fair use really is. Because I got a feeling you keep this stuff up, Jeremy, there's going to be more channels popping up than you can count. You need to stop bullying people. You need to stop threatening people. If you don't like the fact that people are turned off at you harassing and stalking your neighbor for profit, then I suggest you stop doing it. Otherwise, people are going to talk about it, and there ain't a fucking thing you can do about it. Not a damn thing you can do about it.
We are going after every single channel with the help of YouTube reps.
YouTube's going to come after every channel just got something to say about Jeremy Hales. Now, they don't mind if Jeremy got something to say about everybody, but if everybody got something to say about Jeremy, no. The higher ups at YouTube, well, because, you know, he's Jeremy Hales and everything. So, of course, the higher ups at YouTube are going to tell him, you talk about anybody you want, make any accusation you want against somebody, say whatever you want about somebody, use any of their content you want to use any screen caps that weren't even any of your business, use screen grabs from their Facebook page. You do whatever you want, Jeremy. And if anybody ever does to you what you do to others, we'll just remove their channel. You need to wake up.
And so, while they're putting the plan together, and those channels
I call absolute, utter fucking bullshit. You lying piece of shit. Why do you talk to your fan base like they're stupid? And all you Jeremy Hales cucks. You know why he's saying this to you? Because he thinks you're stupid. And in some of you's case, he's probably right. But I'd be a little insulted if he called me stupid. Because if you believe the higher ups at YouTube are going to do anything to some channel that's got an opinion about him, while his channel is nothing but him expressing his opinion about others, you're out of your fucking mind. Isn't going to happen.
channels who are going to go, well, we're going to start deleting. We already have it all.
Oh, they got it all. What's that? What do you got, Jeremy? People's opinion about you? People's opinion about your opinion about other people? People critiquing your critique of others? Is that what you got? You got all them screen caps? Get everybody. He's going to get everybody.
Well, what did that family of lawyers do for her husband?
Now, guess what, Jeremy? That little meeting you've got with the higher ups at YouTube, I wonder what they'll have to say about you doxing people. Because that is a direct violation of YouTube's terms of service. A direct violation. That's like way more than some fair use dispute. That's an instant strike. And so you go to YouTube, you go right ahead, and we'll take your little screen caps of you. This is the third time you've doxed somebody. And we've got all those screen caps, and we'll just take those right on over to X, to the YouTube admin group over there, and we'll get something done about you and your doxing and your abusing of the copyright. And all it takes is one good strike against your channel. And with as nasty as your fans have been lately and as negative as your content's been lately, that'll be the fucking end of your algorithm. Just like up churches. You know, we can make threats too, you turd.
Why are you in my face, bro?
Drugs,
get out of my face. Get out of my face.
With intent
I
to
just
sell.
pulled up. Get out of my face.
Make me.
What do you mean
You
make
think you
me,
own
bro?
this space?
Are you kidding me,
You
bro?
think
What do
you
you want
own
me to
this?
call? You want to call the police?
You think you own this?
No, I don't own anything.
You think you own this?
You just walked
So
up and you got
think
in
you're
my face.
something.
I'm not
you
going
think
to sit
you're
here and
something
allow you
lying
to
about
tempt
people,
me
calling them
and
pedophiles when you
Calling
send
them pedophiles,
nudes
bro.
to a 13-year-old boy.
No, that's your Mr. I'm going to sue people. So, Jeremy, when you take Guapo to court to sue him, what's your big, because Jeremy's attorney's the only attorney that knows what's going on in the whole fucking world. There is not another attorney in the world that knows how court works. Only Jeremy and his attorney know how court works. No one else knows. Everyone else's law license is null and void. It's only Jeremy and his attorney. And he's under some delusion that he can sue Guapo because Guapo expressed just disappointment. I've watched every single thing that Guapo has put out since Jeremy betrayed him like a cheap bitch over a piece of ass. And Guapo hasn't said one single thing about him that's untrue. And none of what he said is even all that bad, really. Just that he don't talk to his family, which is true. His mom and dad don't talk to him. None of his kids talk to him. His own brother and sister don't talk to him. His girlfriend's family don't talk to him. And everybody in the storage unit game, all the other YouTubers that do storage unit videos are all friends. They've all remained friends, except for Jeremy, who has some problem with each and every one of them. I mean, he's the biggest common denominator I've ever seen. I mean, he's a gigantic common denominator. And the stuff that he has said about Guapo, and thinking he's got some way of suing Guapo, what do you think the judge is going to say about your suing of Guapo when that clip is played in court, Jeremy? I think you forget some of the shit that comes out of your mouth. Oh, now to shred I'm going to tell you, this video was damn hard to watch. I wanted to reach through the screen. When Two Lees in a Pod covered this, she kept stopping the video because, and and commenting, and I know exactly why. I mean, it was so freaking hard to listen to this lady be such an absolute massive hypocrite and hiding behind religion, which is just so damn despicable. Now, I'm going to say first, I had a lot of respect for you, lady, when you were elected mayor and you were doing the right thing. I had some respect for you. But when you hitched your wagon to Jeremy's antics of literally harassing people, and you started making excuses for his horrible behavior, it's just pretty hard to have any respect for you anymore. So, and then after watching this, I don't know how someone has this kind of thinking. I don't know how you get to a place in your life where you feel just in saying the things you said, and how you're that unself-aware of how incredibly hypocritical it is. So let me move this over. Let me move this over. There we go. Wait, wrong one. There we go. Oh.
I'll say real quick a few things about the evilness that's going on around us right now.
Evilness. Okay. It's evil because people have an opinion about Jeremy Hales harassing and stalking and smearing his neighbor and making his neighbor's entire life the internet's business.
In the climate of this world. And I don't want to make a big, long anything about it, but right now we are surrounded by a lot of evil things and evil people doing things. And the devil's hard at work, and there's a lot of people who are very eager to let him work through them.
I know. It's like, it's amazing what the devil's doing to Jeremy Hales. You know, and it's funny there that you mentioned that, Madam Mayor, that it seems as though it is a trend that these people that call themselves preachers. What, Jeremy was a youth pastor and he got fired for banging one of the girls that worked under him while he was still married. And yeah, you know, the devil will work through people who claim to be Christian. Seems like that happens a lot.
And I don't really understand it. And I just know that I want God to work through me. And I want to be surrounded by people who allow God to work through them and not the devil. And I think it's sad that other people on other channels, and I'm not going to name any names, they all know who they are allowing the devil to work through them.
I thought you and Jeremy were friends. Why are you talking about him like this? Surely you're talking about Jeremy, aren't you? I mean, you can go ahead and say it. You must be talking about Jeremy Hales. Because his is the only channel I see doing like evil stuff. Like just trying to destroy a family for profit. making their child his business when he can't even maintain a relationship with his own children. His own children, and I could see they're adults. And I could see if maybe one child didn't want to talk to you. Maybe one child had a problem with something you did, but all three.
And I just would like to see some good coming out of them. I don't really understand how anybody gets satisfaction out of causing so much miserable drama.
So what would good be? Well, I mean, I think standing up to bullies, that's kind of like something good, isn't it? Like when you stand up to a bully, someone that's like, and you know what a bully is, Madam Mayor, even though you're not a mayor. What is a bully? Well, a bully is someone who picks on someone that can't fight back, either because they're too small or they're too poor or for whatever reason. A bully will never pick an equal. A bully will always bully someone who isn't able to fight back because they're cowards. And I think standing up to bullies, that's a force for good. At least, the church I go to would call that good. I don't know about your church. Your church might be better than mine. Your church might be one of those churches. It's like you help the bully be a bully. And that's good. And standing up to the bully is bad. I don't know.
Being so hateful, pulling different family members into things when it's nobody's business.
Okay. The hypocrisy. Excuse me, ma'am, but Jeremy Hales, you must be talking about Jeremy, because Jeremy has contacted multiple family members of his neighbor and drugged them in the middle of his beef with his neighbor and then put words in their mouth that they didn't say. Like 4 or 5 times. Surely you're talking about Jeremy dragging family members into things. Surely you are.
And preying on other people's mental health and just using them. You have groups of people who don't care about other people and they're using them.
Excuse me, lady, but Jason Hales didn't even know Otter Creek anything. He had no idea of any beef with Lynette. He hadn't talked to anyone, and he made a video of his own accord at 19 years old on his own channel. And Jason reached out to a live stream that just happened to be live at the time and joined it and talked about the shit he endured from his father. And that is nobody's fault but Jeremy Hales. Nobody coerced that young man into saying anything. He made a video, posted it to his channel, because once again, his mother was crying due to the hands of his father. And excuse me, lady, but you weren't there. And you have no idea of what abuse that child may have endured. And shame on you and your Christianity to discount the testimony of an abused child so callously. Nobody told him to say anything. He made a video on his own. He knew nothing of what's going on in Otter Creek. He was pissed at his dad because his mom was crying yet again. And he was just fucking sick of the lies. And I hate to break this to you, but this, if Jeremy's son came out and said these things about Jeremy, and we had never heard this before, nowhere, any place, you might could say maybe he's embellishing a little, but we've seen it. We've seen the way he treated Guapo. We've seen the way he treated all these other storage unit channels. We've seen the way he's treated his neighbor. We've seen the way he's treated George. We've seen the way that he treated Holly. We see, the courts don't issue adult children restraining orders for no reason. Sorry, they just don't. There's got to be a reason. And when all three children go ask the courts for protection, excuse me, lady, but you've got to give that some credibility. That's not an easy thing for a child to do. Miss Christian.
And hurting them. And you can just see the pain people are in. And it's sad.
Yeah, I bet you Lynette hurts every night, having her entire life plastered all over the internet. She can't even take her baby a walk without being followed and filmed and stalked and made fun of and ridiculed, with constant threats of people going to take her child away from her. Yet CPS has been there 27 times and have found nothing.
To see that you would hate anybody that much to be using an individual who shouldn't have to be involved in a situation and acting like you care about them.
What are you talking about? Jason coming forward and making a video is not associated with us dragging Jeremy's ass over harassing his neighbors. It's two completely different fucking things. Jason never mentioned the word Otter Creek or Lionette. You simpleton. There's no connection whatsoever. Jason had not talked to a single soul within this entire community before he posted that video. He posted that video and literally that's the first time anybody even heard from him. What are you talking about? I've seen some people drink the Kool-Aid, but lady, you've drank the Kool-Aid big time.
It's just horrible. And there's so many smoke screens going on right now.
I would say, yeah, that Jeremy's good at putting out smoke screens, isn't he? Isn't he?
And the main problem is Harley, and Harley needing to be saved off that property from those two people. That's the main focus. And they're throwing out smoke screens so everybody will quit looking at what the real problem is.
There. Who's there? Are you insinuating that Lynette, someone has some control over me? Because I was a Jeremy Hales fan. And I got sickened watching him bully people who don't have the means to fight back. I've never spoke to Lynette. I don't particularly care for her. So exactly what are you talking about? I guarantee you Milltown's best. It's got nothing to do with Lynette. It's got to do with just expressing our opinion about what we see an influencer doing. using his influence in his channel as a weapon to settle a beef with somebody. How would you like to have your life plastered all over YouTube every single night by a channel with 700,000 subscribers? How would you like that? Is that the Christian thing to do? Is that what you're here to tell us? That that's the Christian thing to do? You know, I've heard this bullshit about Harley about as long as I want to hear it. Something is amiss because the sheriff has been to her house multiple times because of you people. CPS has been there 27 times because of you people. Why, if this child was in such dire danger, is she still there? It's because you guys are grossly exaggerating. That's why. And I don't know about what church you go to and what you think your God's work is, but if you're so worried about that baby stepping on a nail or a piece of tin, why don't you take your ass over there and do the Christian thing and help her clean it up? That would be the Christian thing to do, not slander her to 700,000 people on YouTube every night. What are you talking about? God's work and evil afoot. Who the hell do you think you are? What you people are doing to that woman is wrong. On every measurable human scale, it's wrong. What the fuck? I hate people like this. Undamn believable that she can sit there and talk all this shit, and all they have done to that woman is torment her. They've never offered to help her. They've never said, hey, you got all these nails laying around. How about we have some people over and we'll get some roller magnets and roll the property? No, we'll just make YouTube videos about it every day. Was it the Christian thing for you to do when you pulled that jackass move with those wet clothes? Because, you know, those of us with an IQ above a 2 saw right through that shit. You see, folks, there was a hurricane and a flood in Otter Creek. A hurricane and a flood. And some stuff got wet. And so the woman had it set to be thrown out. She had it in trash bags to be thrown out. And this Christian lady here doing God's work took pictures of it and tried to insinuate that, you know, she had wet, stinky clothes laying around all over the place. And it was literally stuff that got damaged in the flood that she was throwing away. Miss Christian lady. Jesus.
I personally don't care what John or Lynette do.
Thanks, Amy, for the two.
For themselves, by
Yet, John gets out of jail and he isn't there 10 minutes and you guys are taking pictures of him, but you don't care what he does. Of course not. No.
themselves on their property. But when it involves a poor, innocent child who didn't ask to be there and deserves to be loved, deserves to thrive, deserves a better life, then that's when I have to say something.
Well, we're calling bullshit because, again, sheriff's been there multiple times, didn't see no problem. CPS has been there 27 times, didn't see no problem. And we listened to that child laugh and play and sing her ABCs, tell her mom she loved her, giggling, talking like any normal 4-year-old. And you guys been saying that she's like nonverbal and tortured all day long, and because, Christians and everything, God's work.
Outside of her, I don't care what they do, but they shouldn't have her. They shouldn't be doing what they're doing. And it's just shameful. And I think, how could these people even profess to love her and put her through this if you loved?
And smearing her business. So let's just give you the benefit of the doubt that you believe this stuff to be true, although I know you're sitting there exaggerating through your fucking teeth. Well, let's just presume you believe it to be true. You think you're helping this child by slandering her mother to the internet nightly and getting all kinds of people all over the world to hate her that don't even know her and have never spoken to her. That somehow is helping this child.
You would say, I can't give you what you need. I want you to be somewhere where you can have these things and where you can be loved. That's what true love is. That's unconditional love. And I think it's just shameful that people are so evil, and I don't see any good works coming out of them at all. All of those people. And I always say, you feed it and it will grow. You starve it and it will die. And I don't think anybody should be paying the evil any attention for it to be growing.
Oh, you're talking about Jeremy again. Man, I thought you were friends with Jeremy. I can't believe all these things you're saying about him. Surely you're talking about him, right? I mean, because I would think it's evil for any influencer to use their social media influence to like destroy people. I haven't seen Jeremy do anything to help a child. All I've seen Jeremy do is slander and threaten to sue, take to court, try to ruin, just blab this woman's entire life, everything she does. He put cameras in the trees, microphones in the trees, making videos for profit for an entire year. And he hadn't done one thing to help that child. And when he did Christmas in the Creek, this child that you guys are all so worried about, he didn't send one gift over there to that child. Not one gift. Miss Christian lady doing God's work.
I don't pay it attention. I pray to God and I let him guide me. This is God's plan and it will be God's timing. And I was reminded today while we were in church that several times, one of the opening songs that played was Sea of Victory. And if you want to listen to that song, it's a beautiful song by Elevation Worship, Sea of Victory. And it talks about that God will have the victory. We will see the victory because whatever.
You won't. That victory's for Christians, ma'am. Not people that support bullies, not people that try to destroy other people and slander other people. Christian people that live a Christian life and do what, Jesus would do and just try to live their life to the best of their ability. Like I said earlier, Christians would go help Lynette, not smear her, slander her, and try to ruin her and stalk her and humiliate her and sue her and try to get her arrested. They would actually help her. A Christian would. And the fact that this is all being monetized makes it even more grotesque.
Whatever Satan meant for evil, God will make good of it. He absolutely will. So I will continue to do God's work, and the different things that come down will come down. But there was also, I looked on my Bible app. I use the Bible app regularly. There's great plans on there. If anybody is interested in checking that out, you can find different plans. You can do them with people, but
Do any of those with Lynette?
today's Bible verse, I mean, you just see God speaking regularly if you pay attention, and he speaks on the things.
I got news for you, lady. God ain't nowhere near Jeremy Hales. Now, I know you saw the way he treated Guapo. I know you did. And you're going to sit there and try to claim that God's working through the two of you. And I call bullshit. I don't know about the whole God thing. You know, it's, you know, still all a mystery to me, but I know karma is real. And Jeremy's going to get a big taste of karma because what he's doing is wrong. It's just wrong. And your attempt to defend it using Christianity is grotesque.
Well, the Bible verse for today was 1 Peter 4:16, and it says, however, if you suffer as a Christian, do not be ashamed, but praise God that you bear that name. There was another verse, Matthew 5:10, that was just the other day. And that reads,
I think Deanna sent that one to you.
yeah, Gianna had sent that one to me.
Oh, is that the lady that told Thomas Collins that Jeremy would beat him up if he didn't go home? Is that another one of these Christian people that's doing God's work?
And it was that Bible
Gotcha.
verse for the day when I had looked it up as well. And it says, blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So
I know, man. And I think, you know what I think? I think those of us who stand up to bullies, we got a better chance than the people that defend, help, and just praise bullies. Yeah, I think I got a better chance than you, lady. And I don't even go to your church. Imagine that.
let it be known that God is in control. You may not understand his timing and you may not understand the different things that are going on, but he is in control. It's his plan. It's his timing. Stay the course, stay strong, and keep doing.
Can you believe this? They are literally slandering, stalking, and harassing these people nightly. Like literally like encouraging fans to go out and just watch. Like if she posts something about her turtle rescue on Facebook, it gets screen capped and pulled out of context. They say all kind of derogatory stuff to her to try to get her triggered. And hey, she might be a little batshit crazy, but that don't mean, you know, you get your child taken away. There's a hell of a lot of people out there that aren't, you know, the greatest socialites that have children. It's not for you to say, lady. And I keep going back to the fact that CPS has been there 27 times. And what I think is, what I would tend to believe is, with all these calls from you plebs, okay, with all these calls they're getting, and they have to respond to the false complaints. If they could nail her for something, they would have probably done it already just to shut you assholes up. So the fact that they haven't charged her with anything after 27 visits tells me you're full of shit, lady. You're just full of shit.
What is right, and pray for the people. I know it sounds so odd of a thing to do, but pray for those evil people. Pray that their hearts will be softened.
It is hard to pray.
Pray that God loves us all, heart, and do what's right. Travis.
You can.
No one has professed that. And the only person a teenager abused,
I don't
and
know
you're
if we
supposed
tolerate
to
much more.
leave him alone and don't use him in a non-biased person with faith-based counselor that can speak to him and love on him.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Here she is talking about what Jeremy's son ought to do. Let me tell you something, lady. I can't handle much more of her fucking condescending bullshit. Man. Let me tell you something, lady. Jeremy's son is so mature that he turned down donations. People wanted to give him money, and he said no. People wanted to promote him. He said no. Now, his father would have leaped on that shit. Give me all the money you can and promote me everywhere. That's what his dad would have done. So that boy doesn't need any advice from you, lady. And he is of a sound mind. Being depressed doesn't mean you're crazy. Telling your story about what happened to you as a child doesn't mean you're crazy. Lady, you weren't there. And shame on you for just drinking Jeremy Hale's Kool-Aid and acting like you actually know what went on in his house when them kids were growing up with him. And this isn't a situation where, you know, I've dealt with an ex-wife that wouldn't give me any access. Every time I tried to have communication with my child, she would get in the way. She took the child to another state, just absolutely did everything in her power to make sure there would never be a relationship, because then the truth would be told. That's not the case here. These kids lived with their father long past the age of knowing what the fuck is going on. And then they had weekend visits with him long past the age of knowing what's going on. This isn't a case where mom put a bug in their ear. The things that Jason talked about were things that he recalled from his own memory, not from his mom telling him something. And the fact that all three children do not speak to him, given the fact that you saw how out of control he was at a public auction because Guapo expressed disappointment in being betrayed and backstabbed for just apparently no fucking reason. What Jeremy did to Guapo was low down and dirty and just out of left field and just totally uncalled for. And for him to say something as hurtful as "we were never friends," when those two did a lot of stuff together for 5 years, made a lot of content together that Jeremy benefited from just as much as Guapo benefited from. And for him to just cavalierly say, "we were never friends," that's fucking evil. Because I guarantee you Guapo thought they were friends. Only to find out, no, he just wanted a piece of his girlfriend. It's just ridiculous. And I know damn well, with you two being in Florida, you've seen Jeremy treat George like trash. George's own sister has said what a piece of shit he is to her. Treats her like shit. Totally controlling over her. So how many people got to say the same damn thing before you go, well, maybe his 19-year-old son isn't making stuff up. You know, I don't think anybody would turn to the internet and say, I felt like doing away with myself. I had to drop out of high school in some way to flex. That's just not something you share unless you feel strongly about it and feel like it needs to be said. And I tell you, I was verbally abused to hell and back by my father. My other two brothers weren't. They would tell you a whole different story of their experience growing up. Theirs was different from mine. They were older. By the time I got old enough to be wandering around under his feet, he was drinking. They didn't experience that. I did. And for you to sit there and discount everything that child said, or not child, but young man, 19, when he made a video of his own accord that had nothing to do with any podcast out there, nothing to do with Otter Creek, and everything to do with, once again, his mother's life being disrupted in a negative way by his father. He's just sick of the lies. He's sick of everybody believing this guy's a saint when he knows better. And I'm going to tell you, what we saw at that auction with the crap Jeremy was doing to Guapo, that is the real Jeremy Hales. Not the one you're living in some fantasy world about. I personally saw him humiliating Holly. I saw it myself, talking to her like she was dirt in public, in front of people, way back before he even had a channel. Shame on you using Christianity to talk that level of nonsense. There's more. I can't handle it. The hypocrisy in the Christianity shit just, disgusting. I'll get to a few comments. I didn't want to be on here too long. I just had to talk about that. I know I'm late to the game. There is nothing worse than a hypocrite using religion. Jeremy Hales literally contacted every person he could contact that had any connection to Lynette. And if he could convince them to say something crappy, he recorded it and played it on his channel. And then she goes, oh, it's just so terrible to pull in a family member. It's only okay when Jeremy does it. That's all. If Jeremy gets a family member to come on and slander somebody, well, that's just God's work. But when Jeremy's own son comes forward of his own accord, that's just evil. Because God's work and everything. Get to a few comments here. I'll tell you right now, even if that was true, who cares? This is what blows my mind, okay, about, I saw the same thing with the Upchurch cult. Slandering the messenger, you Christian folks, you Christians out there doing God's work with Jeremy, slandering the messenger doesn't change the message. If you can't attack the message, if you can't rebut the message, if you can't refute the message, well, then you try to slander the messenger. And it's just so cheap and it's predictable. It doesn't matter what happened in anyone's life 30 years ago. That has no bearing on the fact that what Jeremy Hales is doing to people that have no voice to fight back is wrong. If he wants to have a beef with his neighbors, have one. But plastering this lady's entire life and her personal business and doxing everybody that comes in contact with her is wrong. Doxing is a direct violation of YouTube's terms of service. And I would encourage everybody to flag that video and timestamp the part where he's doxing people. It's just wrong. You're not supposed to do that. Even if you're doing it, for God. They all claim they're so worried about this child, yet none of them have ever done one damn thing to help the child. Not one damn thing. Strangers on the internet have done more to help that child than them people right there. The fact that people sent gifts for every child in Otter Creek, and that piece of shit never gave that child anything, says everything there is to say. He has accused her of putting signs that said some crappy stuff. So be it. He's suing her for it. There's a court case coming up. He'll have his day in court. All this other stuff that he's doing to her is unjustified. I don't see her making videos talking trash about him and talking trash about everybody associated with him. I don't see her calling his family members and trying to convince them to come on the internet and talk bad about him. And I bet you could, though, because his whole family don't talk to him. They're a Miss Christian lady. But so it's couldn't possibly be Jeremy. It must be all these other people. It must be everybody in the storage unit YouTube community. They're the problem, not Jeremy. It must be Guapo. Couldn't possibly be that Jeremy just did something really shitty for no reason. I bet you I could poll 2,000 people and they would all agree that what Jeremy did to Guapo was bullshit. That you don't treat a friend that way. You just don't. That's not how you treat a friend. Friendships, there has to be some level of respect. And just out of just plain old everyday respect that Guapo is a decent dude trying to live a decent life, just out of respect for that. Why would you just do something is gonna hurt the guy's feelings? Just because you can. Well, just because you can do something doesn't mean maybe you ought to do it. Sure, you can, but should you? I wouldn't do a friend that way. I can ask people in this chat right now, if you were friends with someone for 5 years, and you and your girlfriend and him and his girlfriend traveled all over the place, doing double date stuff and going on vacations together and doing videos together and everything, and you broke up with your girlfriend, and your buddy swoops in and hires her so she can be with him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while he's in another state where his girlfriend ain't. So your buddy leaves his girlfriend in another state and goes to the state where your girlfriend lives, hires her as a camera girl, and starts hanging out with her every day when you break up with her. And you guys are friends. How many people would be okay with that? I would say nobody. But I'm sure you'll make an excuse for it, because God's work and all. There's no excuse for it. It was just shitty thing to do. You can hire anybody to hold a camera. You don't have to hire your friend's ex. That's not what friends do. Period. And then talk about he's going to sue Guapo when the first thing he said about Guapo was just horrendous. Appreciate it, man. Austin reacts. I get some of you guys' comments. I hear you. Dude, I can't believe the how can you just like swim in that level of hypocrisy? I mean, knowing that Jeremy has had multiple family members in Linettes and put words in their mouth, actually like took things they said out of context and actually put words in their mouth. And then Jeremy's son comes forward on his own, didn't have nothing to do with nobody, had no idea any of this Otter Creek stuff, didn't even know a podcast called Two Lees existed. And she acts like that's just horrible. Like somehow it's these people's fault. And it's nobody's fault but Jeremy's. You know, the one thing I'll say to people who treat their children like shit, they're going to be adults someday. And they're going to tell on you. You just better bear that in mind. They're all going to grow up. They're going to remember what you did. And they're going to tell on you. Jeremy wasn't a good father. Anybody that would want their child to be petrified of them to the point of shaking when they see you, it's just sick. That's a sick level of control that only a sick individual would want. Oh, well, I don't know nothing about that. I hear you. Hey, you got to call the bullies out. You know, I'll give everybody a little update. You know, my English setter died. You know, he never did get over his sister dying. Them two dogs were so close. I mean, they were like the best of friends. And they were both 14 years old. And he just never got over her not being here. It like broke his heart. He was just like, he's just so down and out. And we tried everything to lift his spirits. And he just went downhill, man, just fast. And we think he had a stroke probably because his back legs quit working. So we had to take him in, have him put down. I mean, he just went like, he just lost all mobility. Yeah, Upchurch can't handle responsibility. I know. He's talking about how, you know, much he loves this new baby. I just like to see how he would feel if Eminem started making videos tomorrow saying he was faking and his child was fake and he was just scamming GoFundMe. I mean, for him to torment a grieving family for 2 years and just think it's just be so cavalier about it. And then, you know, he has a baby and he talks about, oh, my child, like as if the Rodney family didn't love their child. Yeah, I know. YouTube could care less about Jeremy. I know. Man, him and his bullshit. He starts talking to them about that. They're going to absolutely just look at him like he's an idiot. For God's sakes. You think, hey, Jeremy, do you think Mr. Beast likes that there are hundreds of channels making content about him daily? You think Mr. Beast, you know, because I know you think you're like a big YouTuber and everything, but like Mr. Beast is like a big YouTuber, Jeremy, like a big YouTuber, okay? Like he's the #1 earner for YouTube. There are hundreds of channels that talk about him daily, Jeremy. And there ain't a damn thing he can do about it. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it either. Quit making these idle threats to people. Quit trying to ruin small channels. If you're going to put such a strong opinion out there about people, You've got to be willing to take the criticism as it comes. There are a lot of people that think what you're doing to her is wrong. Because it is wrong. If you cared about that child, you'd be helping her, not destroying her. Period. Same goes for you, Miss Madam Mayor. Your bullshit narrative. All I'm going to say to you one more time. You will be treated exactly like Guapo within a millisecond of you doing something Jeremy don't like. You just remember me telling you that, because he is yet to maintain any long-term friendships. He has none. So he will have a falling out with you. It's just a matter of time. The same way he's had a falling out with every single person he's ever had a relationship with. Because he's a narcissistic control freak. And then if he thinks he's losing control, he will attack. Your day's coming. He's going to do you exactly the way he did Guapo. Because that's who he is. Any notion that Guapo isn't a good guy and wasn't a decent friend to Jeremy is grounded in pure, willful ignorance. I know better. You can't see someone be consistent. Nobody cares that Guapo smoked weed, Jeremy. Not one person on earth gives a shit. They don't. A lot of people care that you're bullying poor people, threatening to sue poor people, like Thomas Collins. For God's sakes, what is wrong with you, Jeremy? He's allowed to video the same way you're allowed to video. You simpleton. I've never seen somebody, oh, we got the higher ups at YouTube, man. They're going to let me talk shit about people. But if someone says something about me, by God, they'll take their channel down. Yeah, no kidding. Didn't have anything to do with, it didn't have anything to do with the cartoon. It had to do with control. He knew he liked it, so he can't watch it no more. Because, I'm in control. It's a known fact that kids that are abused wet to bed. So you just sort of told on yourself. I know. I saw that too. Let me tell you, all you guys on Whatnot, based on what we saw him do to Guapo, okay, I look for Jeremy to turn in every single buddy on Whatnot that doesn't have an auctioneer license. That's why he's going on there. Remember me telling you that, because he is absolutely capable. And that's fine. But he said that wasn't why he was having nightmares. He was having nightmares because he was afraid of his dad, not afraid of Scooby-Doo. When you go hide in your toy box at 8 or 9 years old, and your dad's coming to pick you up for a visitation, and you go hide, there's a problem. His oldest sister, Jason, said he picked him up one time for a visitation, and traditionally, every time he would pick him up for a visitation, as soon as they got in the car with him, he would start trash mouthing their mom. No child wants to listen to their mom be badmouthed. They don't. No child wants to hear that. Especially when that's their custodial parent. That's the parent they're the closest with and they're the most dependent upon. And they don't want to hear it. And yet he would continue every time he picked them up for a visitation, he would start trash mouthing their mom. And his older sister, all she said was, please don't talk about my mom, Dad. And he slammed on the brakes, threw them all into the back seat in the dash, and made her get out of the car and left her and took off. She had to walk home. Yeah, that's Madam Mayor. That's your, he's being exploited. No, that was a memory. That wasn't a podcast telling Jason what to say. That wasn't his ex-wife telling Jason what to say. That was Jason saying what happened. Thank you. It's called a memory, not an exploitation, not slander. It's called a memory, Miss Christian lady. Childhood memory. I've got lots of them. Like, getting my ass beat with a belt in front of my friends for something I didn't do. I can tell you plenty. I know exactly where that kid's coming from. Or being afraid to bring a friend around because you have no idea when your parent's going to rip into you and just belittle the shit out of you right in front of them. I know exactly what he went through. And shame on you, lady, for just assuming that Jeremy's some goddamn saint when there's just way too many people saying the same thing, lady. The crap he did to Marilyn Rabies for a profit was terrible. And now to see him doing it to someone else. And he tells some story that he was suing Marilyn Rabies for $1 million. And I'll fill some of you in on that story that you may not know. But some dude was asked to be a maintenance person for 2 buildings that this lady owned. This lady's husband bought and sold commercial real estate, and they owned some buildings in downtown Worcester. And he had passed away, and she had this maintenance guy. She just sort of kept him on. He was somebody that her husband knew. And he was supposed to be watching these buildings for her and just sort of make sure, just mow the grass and just make sure they're not being vandalized. And for that, in return for that, he could use one of them to store his business in. I believe he did landscaping. So that was the deal. Well, he turned around and rented Jeremy Hales one of the buildings behind her back. She was in her late 80s and wanted to go into assisted living where her daughter lived. So she wanted to sell everything. And she wanted to sell that building. And she was telling this guy, hey, appreciate you helping me out over the years. We're going to sell the building. You clear your stuff out of there. And Jeremy Hales refused to leave and squatted in this lady's building for 1.5 years. And then tried to take her to court and sue her because he had to move when he never rented the building from her. He rented it from some dude that had no business renting it to him. And he lost. He lost that court hearing. He tells his fans he won. They're too low IQ to go read the docket themselves and see who won and who lost. But he had to get the hell out of her building. End of subject. He lost. He got no money. He got nothing. He was told to get out of this lady's building. You got this many days to do it. And he made videos about that woman. He made videos about her family. He tried to claim her family member tried to run over him, and you can clearly see in the video he steps right behind their car and then claims they tried to hit him. Just doing real bitch stuff. Same shit we see him doing now. Miss Christian lady doing God's work. So, and then we seen him do the exact same thing to the bookkeeper there in Otter Creek. Corner her in an office, all 6'2" of him, looking down at her, intimidating the shit out of her. And she wants out of that office, away from him. She wants out of there, out into the common area. And he's standing in her doorway, blocking her. And she literally puts her hand on his shoulder, and he calls out assault and tries to take her to court. And she ends up having a stroke. I mean, he's just a ray of sunshine. So anyway, that's about all I got. I just had to shred that stupid broad's attempt at using God to justify the crack they're doing. Yeah, they always try to ring my phone. They're just like little girls. I couldn't imagine not having that a life like that. Just being a piece of shit. Oh, I don't know. You'll have to ask them about that. Yeah, false copyright claims are an also a violation of YouTube's terms of service there, Jeremy. And yeah, we can talk to YouTube too. You're doxing people, your fans, going outside of YouTube, doing some of the things they're doing, and you threatening people, and then making these bullshit strikes against small channels. And I just never seen somebody that thinks that, he's the only one that knows how YouTube works. And when he does something, it's legit. But if someone else does, they ain't doing it right, and they can be sued. I can make 300 videos talking shit about you, but if you make a video talking about me, YouTube's going to take your channel away. Yes, Your Honor. I did say all these slanderous things about this man, and made all kind of videos, but he made a video talking about me, and I want you to award me some money for that. I think you're full of shit, Jeremy. I think nobody at YouTube gives a rat's freaking ass that people share their opinion about you. I know, isn't that some bullshit? That is some serious bullshit. They don't care, Jeremy, period. If they cared, there'd be all these big channels could do something about it, I mean, dude, there are channels like a Tozy. How many subscribers does he have? A Tozy's whole channel, you Jeremy Hales fans, is him critiquing other YouTubers. And he's got a couple million subscribers, I believe. Oompa Loompa, same thing. All he does is just talk shit about other YouTubers. Over a couple million subscribers. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It's fair use to use a clip out of one of your videos to express what you said in your own voice when sharing your opinion about it. Period. And if you try to copyright claim it, you are violating YouTube's terms of service. And there's been a pattern of you doing that. So see, people can say things too. higher ups at YouTube going to delete channels. We're not 100% sure yet, but we think we can get these channels deleted because, you know, we're the only ones allowed to have an opinion on YouTube. Nobody else is allowed. Can't you guys see I'm Jeremy Hales? I mean, it ain't like you're just, you know, messing around with some small time stuff here. I mean, I'm a big YouTuber. Yeah, I think Mr. Beast has got better lawyers than you have, Jeremy. I know you think the only lawyers that are any good are the ones you hire. All the other lawyers in the world aren't any good. But I think Mr. Beast has better lawyers than you do. He certainly got more money than you got. That ought to hurt your ego. How we doing, backwoods? I got to get the hell off of here. I shouldn't even be on here tonight. Oh, I know, man. My God, he's small time. Actually, by today's standards, anything less than, say, I wouldn't call someone a big YouTuber unless they got a couple million subs anymore. I mean, there are so many YouTubers with over 1 million now that, you know, I would say that's the benchmark of success, is that 1 million subscriber mark. Not to say you can't make money, but you're not like some big YouTuber that the higher ups of YouTube would care about. They wouldn't give a rat's ass about somebody with 700,000 subscribers. I mean, my God, the YouTubers out there with 20 million subscribers, there's a bunch. 5 million subscribers, 15 million subscribers. You know, videos that are getting 2 million views, and, you know, look at Whistle and Diesel, man. He posts a video and in an hour it's got 2 million views. Fucking crazy, man. Oh, yeah. Oh. See, here we go. Here's some more of your typical up church trash. Yeah, no doubt. There you go. You know, I would love to just see, you know, what lawyer? So you're a lawyer, and Jeremy Hales comes to you and says, I want to sue Guapo. And your lawyer said, well, really? What do you want to sue him for? Well, he said some stuff about me I don't like. Oh, okay. And then his lawyer puts in for the discovery, and all of a sudden he sees Jeremy Hales chasing the guy around a parking lot, threatening to beat him up, saying that he was sending nudes to someone underage. I'd be his lawyer, be like, you were going to make a fool of me in front of the judge, dude. How dare you? Yes, Your Honor. I know I said these things about him, but I'm allowed because, you know, I'm Jeremy Hales. You know, he's not Jeremy Hales. So when he says something about me, he's, you know, you got to, you know, I win. Right? So I get money, he don't. I can't. You know, I think every time he threatens to sue people, more channels start talking about him. And man, any of you guys that are looking for content, there's you some good content. Start talking trash about this dude. Give him all the people in the world he can sue. He wants to sue everybody. Well, give him plenty of people to sue. Keep him busy. Oh yeah, I was going to do it last night. I didn't get home till late. We wanted to squeeze in one more good weekend. School started, and Man, it's hard to believe summer seemed like it went so quick. I'll tell you, if you want to hear that lady, that's on that Madam Mayor channel. Just you can, if you can tolerate listening to the rest of that fucking hypocrisy shit using religion, I can't, man, that's about all I could stomach. I mean, she knows damn well that if that child's life was in danger, the sheriff or children's services would have done something by now. Just ridiculous. And then when you find out that Jeremy Hales can't even maintain a relationship with his own children, but he's making his neighbor's child his business. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people watch on the replay too, but yeah, man, I wish you guys would all hit that thumbs up. It really helps. It really, really does. Gets more people watching, gets more people in the channel. Yeah, okay, yeah. Hey, Madam Mayor, you think that Jeremy's son was lying when at 9 years old, his dad left him and his sister alone in the house with no means of communication? And the courts stripped him of his parental rights for that. So you don't get to downplay it and pretend like it didn't happen because there's a court record. You don't get to pretend that he was doing God's work or anything. He left two small children in the upstairs of a house alone with no means of communication, no phone. So if something happened, they couldn't even call somebody. And they were so afraid to answer the door because he had put the fear of God in them that they weren't allowed to go to the door, that when the police came there and were hammering on the door, they had to shove a note under the door saying we're not allowed to open it. Imagine how scared two little kids got to be when they won't even answer the door for the police. Well, what do you got to say about that, Madam? I'd really love to hear you rebut that. No YouTube channel that's talking about the way Jeremy is treating Lynette had anything to do with a word that came out of that young man's mouth. That's the recount of his childhood. No manipulation, memory. And just knowing that he had the wherewithal to know that if he took a dime in donation, his dad would use that against him. Or if he accepted a micro speck of promotion, people like you doing God's work would use that against him. So he had sense enough to just say, no, I don't want any donations. If you want to donate to a charity in my name, feel free. No, I don't want any promotion. I just want everybody to know the truth about the hell I endured with Jeremy Hales being my father. No, my mom told me. None of that. Because they go on to use that excuse that Jeremy's ex put all that in Jason's head. No, ma'am, no. He was recalling memory, not something he was told. It's something that he lived. So, yeah, screw you and your God's work shit. And you just, yuck. I can't believe I had any respect for you at all, man. That was just one of the most distasteful things I've ever seen. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Yeah, I don't know about any of this. You know, and that was the other thing, this Lloyd that they claim they rescued. And you know, that's the other thing I wanted to mention is, you know, she let her grandson come there and he brought his friend and his girlfriend, 3 able-bodied, late teens, early 20s, help wanted signs everywhere. And between the 3 of them, they don't have a job. And then they're whining and complaining because she was making them help out around there. And then this Lloyd, who was literally running from the cops, hiding, they brought the lice there. Lynette don't go anywhere. Her and that child haven't been anywhere to get lice. They brought the lice there. We all got sense enough to know that. And so I don't even know where you guys think you can go with that, because it was brought there by those people. It wasn't brought there by her. And that Lloyd, you were so proud of helping out. Yeah, you helped a fugitive hide. That's what you did. What were you guys saving him from? Because I heard Jeremy say that Lloyd was afraid for his life. Well, what was going to happen to his life living on Lynette's property rent-free in his own camper? I mean, that's how bad these people exaggerate. But she let this guy, he was paying $500 a month to keep his camper on a campsite. And he was running out of money because he drinks too much. And so Lynette let him put his camper on her property for free. And they had to rescue him from free rent. And she lets her grandson come down there to, you know, maybe find a job. And he brings 2 deadbeats with him. So there's 3 more mouths for her to feed, and they're not pitching in to help at all. And somehow they have credibility? I don't think so. So I guess that's enough of that. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Oh, I guess, yeah, I forgot. Oh, my brother. He's not doing too good. He's not doing too good. You know, some of you know was diagnosed with, he had the same cancer I had, just in a different area. And they got that under control like a year ago. And then he got to feeling bad. He went back in and they found it heading up his spine and in his spinal fluid. And so they gave him, you know, a very short amount of time. So, and you know, he's not doing too well, for those of you that reached out and wanted to know. Just keeping it real. So there's that. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.